MOBEER Cold Takes, live from the Tiki Bar, brought to you by Craft Beer Mafia, Twisted Fate Brewing. Twisted Fate Brewing, 120 Andover Street, is a badass brewery that I am drinking from right at this moment. And bonus, what size cans do they have, Charlie Chugs?
They have a whopping 16.9 ounce extended cans, if you will.
The extended version.
Extends.
You don't need it's the Viagra can.
Yep.
An extra 9 ounces, ladies.
No, 9/10 of an ounce.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, here we are, episode 4. And today, as usual, we've got Charlie Chugs.
Hey.
We've got J-Mo, Jessica Morrill.
What's up?
We do not have Matt and Al. Matt is at school because he's a 6-year-old, and Al hurt his back. But we do have a special guest today, special guest host, the Craft Beer Mafia Sergeant at Arms, Mr. Marc Sisson.
Hey, how are ya?
Sisson.
How you do, Marc?
I'm good. How are you?
Welcome to the show. You are our first official guest. Hey, of all the people in all the places, we chose you. Well, a lot of other people said
You're just
no,
the first one
You
available.
were the first one that said yes, but you're still the first.
This is not the first time that's happened to me.
When else?
That was a good
When are the other times it happened?
I am a great runner-up. No, I'm not gonna lie. I thought you gave me a wrong address or a fake address because I was driving through Haverhill and then I realized I'm like, I thought you lived in New Hampshire. I didn't know it was right off the border. I was
So
like,
hop,
oh, he
skip,
gave
and
me a
a
fake address. Great, wonderful.
Here's something weird. A lot of states are next to other states.
It happens.
Yeah, New Hampshire, right next to Massachusetts. I don't know how that happens. What'd you bring today? What are you drinking?
I brought from Widowmaker Brewery out of Braintree, Mass. Cloud Factory. They're New England double IPA, 8.1%.
Excellent. And we were talking about the can earlier, and it's a cool can. It's just it's basically, some people like Clown Shoes get away with some really great art and bad beer, but other breweries they just keep it simple, like Trillium or this one here with
put your
Widowmaker.
budget into your beer, is my opinion.
Yeah.
Beer budgets.
Beer budgets.
And we can't figure out though what that photo is. You think it's what?
It's a factory. Some factory somewhere around Boston. Like I don't know. The guys, I think they're from the South Shore or they're from just around Boston because they make a almost home beer where it's the big tank that's just south of Boston in Dorchester with the rainbow tie-dye on it. It's the biggest like art piece in at least Massachusetts.
Yeah.
And they call it almost home. So it tells me either they're just south of Boston or just north of Boston. They see it every time they drive home. So
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Gotcha.
Maybe it's in Everett. Maybe it's in Southie. We don't know.
Well, next time you come here, you should probably bring some facts with you. So, Jessica, what are you
Welcome, though.
drinking? I just give you a goddamn.
I'm drinking Rockport's Macateers Dry Irish Stout. Freaking phenomenal beer, 4.3%. So I'll be able to go to work tomorrow, raise the mad genius with that.
Charlie, what are you putting in your guzzle?
I just finished this first one, World of Dreams New England IPA, Twisted Fate. First beer I've ever had from Twisted Fate. Absolutely delicious. That last 9/10 of an ounce hits a spot. That's a 6% I can't 6.5 it looks like. But then since I finished that one, I just cracked this one. Sultana Dreams.
we
We
just had
discussed this
so
yesterday.
many problems with
We
this
don't know.
name.
We don't know what it's
What is a sultana?
What is a
like?
sultana?
Is that like Spanish for sultan?
I'll Google it.
So this one's 6.6%, and as I will say, they drink above those ABVs.
Yes.
The flavor profile on the body is way above 6.5%. Closer, I would say. I would have guessed it was in the 8s.
Yeah, I would have been like 6.9 at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. I am also I'm also drinking Twisted Fate Brewery beer, and it is also World of Dreams New England IPA. We talked about this yesterday. This beer is wet hopped. Do you know what that is, Marc? Have you ever heard of wet hop beer?
I mean, I thought that was just hopped.
Just
right?
that's what I said yesterday.
That's what I thought, but
Basically, it just means that at the beginning of the process, they don't strain, they don't clean the hops, and they just put the hops in as is. These are Centennial hops, I believe, in this one. And but you just get like, did you feel it? Did you feel that little like flavor around your tongue?
It was just delicious, and it was just hopped. Like I know what a dry hop is. A wet hop, I don't.
Dry
think,
hop is a totally different thing.
No shit.
That's when you put it in a different part of the process.
It's after the boil. You're not
Right.
boiling it. This is just hopped.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to know what sultana means?
We
Yes.
do. And then we're going to Google wet hop.
All right. It's a white oval seedless grape variety, also called the Sultaniana.
Well, the
Some
more you
white
know.
grape.
Yeah, Thompson seedless.
So it's a
what
wine?
Called Lady Dick Coverley and
Lady Dick?
oval fruited kishmish.
Half of those weren't real words.
I know.
We were afraid that Sisson was going to be the mumbler on the show today.
I no longer feel like I
Kishmish.
know the answer. Like I'm no closer to knowing what that is.
All right.
Yeah, seriously.
It's a white. It's a white grape.
It's a white
Oh,
grape.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
All you had to say. So it's a
Well,
white
there's other words.
We need some more feedback from Dave on exactly what's going on.
A
Looks
white
like
grape
It
by
looks
Dave.
like a yellow raisin.
It's stupendous.
It's
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
all right.
Those
Well,
are like in
alright.
the trail mix. Yeah.
in your spare time, we need you to look up wet hopping.
Ah,
Oh,
freaking what am
I don't know. And be careful
Google
what comes up
library?
in your search when you look
Yeah.
up wet hopping.
While
Turn-
she's
turn
looked that
search
up, I got a
on.
question for you, Mo.
You do.
You're
This isn't how it works, but
You're
okay.
a beer server, right? From Cicerone.
Yeah, level 1 beer Cicerone.
No,
How
that's
ripped
a
off did you
server.
feel once you found out you weren't a Cicerone after the first level? Because I felt really ripped off that like you couldn't call yourself a Cicero after the first.
He's
Why
just
can't you?
he's just finding out
Because
right now that
they
he's
say
not a
you
Cicero.
can't. Like it's like in the end, like
No.
by signing this, you agree that you cannot call yourself a Cicero. You're
You got
beer
a certificate,
server.
right? And you got a pin when you got
Yeah, but it
level
says
1
beer
Beer
server.
server level 1.
It doesn't
from
say-
Cicerone.
I know. But
So
like,
all
Program.
Cicerone, yeah, all Cicerone is a couple of kids that got together at one point and were like, let's charge people and make them think that they're smart, and then obviously the program grew and it's
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I literally went. We talked about this yesterday.
You tried
I
something?
went to beer school at Sam Adams for a week so that we could study for that just the next level. And our instructor, there's 3 levels, right, to Cicerone?
Yeah.
And that our instructor was just trying to get his highest level Cicerone.
There's only like 4 people in the world that are like
exactly
ranked that top.
Yeah. Yeah, but basically it's just a couple of dudes just came up with the rules. So who are they to tell us we're not Cicerones?
I got really mad at the end. I was like, really? I can't even. I learned about like the Crown Prince Ludwig and all this, and I can't call myself a Cicerone. Wonderful.
The Crown
Thank God
Prince
it's free.
Ludwig.
Yeah, that's
Sounds like
my
a
favorite
nickname for a
story.
penis.
Oh, I was gonna say it sounds like a Prince Albert almost, but not quite.
Again,
Why
we're
does it
back to
always end up
penises.
back to always
Because
always
Jessica
find a way
always
back.
brings it there.
Hey.
What do we got for wet hopping?
All right. Dry hopped is a brewing term for adding hops late in the brewing process, either
what
during
I said.
fermentation
That's what I
or
said.
That's what we
conditioning.
said.
We said that.
Wet hopping concerns adding freshly picked hops during brewing at any point because hops spoil quickly after harvesting. This usually means that in a wet hop beer, whole cone hops are used in brewing on the same day they're
So
harvested.
they do nothing to the hop if it's
So
whole cone.
basically, it's like
Which is what I
you
said.
pick something and
Which is
you
just-
don't dry it out. So
Right.
It's picked.
Fresh
it's
hops.
Fresh.
Thank you.
Not pelletized, not
Yeah.
dried.
Exactly
It's
what I
not like
said.
soaked in water and made wet.
I am a Cicerone. Clearly. I don't care
fresh.
what those people say. I'm clearly a Cicerone. I got that right.
It's just still sounds like regular hopping, but with hops that haven't gone stale yet.
With a hop that won't crunch.
With a hip hop. You know what the time it is?
What time is it?
It's time for Charlie Chugg's This Day in History.
This day in history. No one dies in this one. Well, not yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
Wow.
September 13th, 1906. 116 years ago? Check my math.
I remember it well.
Do you? The first flight of a fixed-wing aircraft happens in Europe.
What? I don't
Six
know
wings?
what's a fixed wing.
A fucking plane.
Oh, I think it's
Oh.
6 wings.
Fixed.
thought
The wing-
you were doing-
it's a plane.
I know it's a plane.
Why'd you
but-
ask?
Because you said, what's a fixed wing?
As
As opposed to a broken wing?
an
Wings
unaffixed
that
wing.
don't like
Yeah,
flap like
flap.
birds.
It's like wet hopping
Planes?
versus dry hopping.
Planes did that before?
I don't think so.
Oh. Then what-
Thought it
They've
didn't
always
work.
been fixed. Just like beers are
I
always
would
just
never
regular
get in a
hops.
plane where the wings weren't fixed.
I agree.
You're not
Why
getting me
would
on
you?
a broken
Right.
plane.
Right. Which I picked this because I know that you've had a lot of experience with planes and flights over the course of your career. I don't have any silly joke to make, but I'm curious as to. I know you've had some crazy experiences like the mask dropping and shit.
Yeah. But I have traveled way more than I've ever wanted to. Jessica's afraid of flying, period. And she's flown enough that you would think that sometimes you get over it. Me, when I was a kid, I was afraid of flying because you are for a little period of time, and then you just get used to it. And the best lesson I ever learned about flying was look at the flight attendants, and if they panic, then you panic. Because they're used to it. They do it all the time. If they are fine, then you're fine. So if there's ever been any sort of turbulence or whatever, I'll give a little glance to the flight attendants. 99.99% of the time, they're all fine. And so I live by that. Now, I've been on planes that have been struck by lightning. I've been on planes where I've been diverted. But earlier this year, I was going from, I think, Montana home. We had to stop in Minneapolis. And it was wintertime. Apparently, there was snow on the ground. There was a lot of wind. We get close to Minneapolis, and the flight captain's like, "Yeah, there's going to be turbulence." And we're all, at least I'm like, "Yeah, there's always turbulence. Even the worst turbulence isn't a big deal. It sucks, just more about nausea than it is about being scared or anything." So we hit the turbulence. It's actually not that bad, and we go to land, and I'm like, "All right, we're going to land now," and then we go back up. And as we're going down, you can feel like the back of the plane being pushed to the side. I'm like, what the hell? Like, was there a squirrel on the
shit in my pants?
I still wasn't that concerned. I didn't know. We're going to crush a squirrel. There are people out there that just love life, and they
I
would
slammed
never.
on my brakes for a squirrel today.
Yeah, people literally kill other people because they want to avoid a dog in the road or a squirrel, so we get back up in the air and captain comes on and he's like, "Hey guys, we had a little wind gust there. We're gonna circle around. We're gonna try this again." And it was actually more like, so we do it. We go back up. We circle around. We hit the same damn turbulence. Now we're feeling it a little bit. We come back down. We're like 5 feet away from the ground, and shoosh, we fly back up again. This happened 4 times. 4 times. And at no point did I think we were going to crash the plane through doing that. My thought was, we don't have any gas. I know what these, they put just enough gas in these planes to get from point A to point B. So how are we doing this? And then they add, yeah, we're not going to be able to land in Minneapolis. We're going to go back to, I don't even know where we went. We went somewhere, I think we went Cleveland or something like that. And I'm doing the math. I'm like, Cleveland?
How much further was that?
Cleveland's 200 miles away, and we're going to fly there? So they fly us into Cleveland, we land fine, and then we've got to wait, and we got to get on a plane, and then we're going to do it again. We're going back to Minneapolis, and so I nearly rented a car, but some of these plane experiences, it almost ended my career right there in more than one way, because I was almost never going to fly again. But, for the most part.
This is why I drink before my flights.
And
yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you drink on your flights?
Yes.
I can't do it. I don't know what it is. I just can't enjoy it. I think it's because, first of all, you have to drink out of the can, and it's usually some shitty beer.
A cup.
I don't like to.
I'll rephrase. I don't drink beer while I'm on a plane, and there's a strategic reason for that. Is that getting to the bathroom on a plane sucks.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I keep the volume of liquid that I consume down and the alcohol percentage up. So I'm normally drinking whiskey or something of the sort on a plane. And I also normally bring my own nips, which you're not supposed to drink them.
How do you get them through? How do you even get them on the plane?
Because they're allowed. You get anything under 2 ounces, as long as it's
Even
in a
alcohol?
Ziploc bag. Even alcohol. You're not supposed. It's a federal crime to drink the alcohol on the plane. However,
you know that this is a federally regulated program.
I don't do that.
I plead the fifth.
I don't do that.
I don't drink booze really unless it's like a quadruple IPA.
I drink beer in the airport though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
No matter what time it is. Always.
Oh yeah.
Always.
Yeah, there's no
Doesn't matter.
clocks in an airport.
No.
There is. I went to an airport that was closed once. Manchester. I didn't know that airports closed. Any airports. I thought they were always open. And I was going to, where was I going to? This one wasn't Austin. Maybe this one was Austin. I left work. I got out of work at 2 o'clock in the morning, and my plane left at 5:30. And instead of driving all the way back up to Loudon and then back to Manchester, I just went straight to the airport. And it literally was closed. I had to wait in the lobby, until it opened.
Wow.
And then there was no beer.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous.
That's un-American.
I
Anyway,
can't believe
So Normally, right about now, we kind of ask each other how their weeks went.
I'm gonna
and
chug
just
this
a
beer,
little
though.
inside. Oh, you've got to chug the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
And-
You don't need
Stealing
our
I
my
help.
suppose I
part.
didn't need to announce it.
So you just
Well,
need to relax
no.
it.
Hold on,
Everyone's like,
because I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. Well, Jessica, will you tell him to chug his beer?
Check your beer,
Has anyone-
Charlie.
I think this might be the first recorded Twisted Fate chug. No,
This
Did you
is.
guys- Is it?
I
I
would
can't think of
say
another.
so,
So this
yeah.
is a 16.9 ounce
No,
chug.
I polished off the other 9/10 of an ounce before this.
Yep.
Just 16.
You would have broken a record.
Whoa.
All right, Charlie is chugging again.
4.
Did not make the
Is that
4-second
4?
club.
I feel like it was 4.
I'm gonna
Four.
get like 5.3.
I'm full of
I
pizza.
counted 4 with Mississippi's.
Yeah, Charlie ate. So Charlie and I went out before this because we're gonna give you a little inside. Last week things didn't work out with recording the podcast on time, so we're back to back in it here. We were here yesterday. That's the one that was released today. This one you won't hear until next Tuesday, but it doesn't matter. So we don't really have anything to tell you about our week before. So Charlie and I met up at Uno's before, and we were going to talk shop, but we ended up drinking a couple of beers and eating a lot of pizza. And but we went to Uno's.
We did go to Uno's.
Apparently, there's only 100 Uno's left in this country, which actually surprised me that there's that many.
I mean,
Not in this country. Internationally, there's 100.
One Fenway closed down.
One in Fenway closed.
That was like a landmark. I
That
remember
was.
getting off the
Like,
train.
I'd go
and-
there every time before as a kid going to the
Right on
game.
the
You
corner
go
there.
to Uno's, you get your pizza. Your kid doesn't have to ask for a $12 hot dog. You're like, hey, take your pizza. Just take it in with you.
Yeah, but this place was this. So this is the one in Haverhill, Massachusetts, and to be honest,
We're
it
being
used to
specific.
be the best Uno's because they had
Used to be our spot.
incredible bartenders, and it didn't matter Monday through Sunday. They by 4:00 in every afternoon, the bar was packed. The bartenders are awesome. It was entertaining. They had a pretty good beer selection. Today they were running around. The bartender was actually really good.
The bartender, at least I think she was the bartender.
Yeah.
Because the other servers were coming behind the bar and pouring their drinks.
That's right. Yeah, it was kind of free for. At least the person that waited on us was really nice.
Yeah.
This other girl was just literally just being a drama queen, running
Panicking.
around like a chicken with her head cut off. She comes back over to us and she's like, "You guys got a gun?" And points it at her head. She's like, "Because I just want to shoot myself with everything that's going on out there. It's a shit show."
Before she said that, I was about to give her mine. And I didn't.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm
Oh my God.
glad you didn't. But Uno's used to be great.
There was an Uno's when I lived in Lynn, Massachusetts for a year, right over the Salem border.
Sorry,
I was going to Salem State Daycare, and it was just when Lindsay and I had just first started dating, and she would sleep over, and we'd wake up at 10:30, bright crack acid dawn at 10:30 in the morning, and I had class at 10:45, and I often decided not to go to class, and instead we would go to an early lunch at Uno's, drink a few beers, eat. I got this salad all the time. I was telling her the honey crunch salad, fucking delicious.
It was delicious.
Met some characters. It was like
I don't know what this salad thing you
the
speak
first
of
ever
is.
time I was like a regular at a chain restaurant. I was there like 4 lunches a week.
Yeah.
Skipped. I pretty much dropped out of college because of Uno's. Like, I'm not even kidding. Like this is what started, or it was Lindsay's fault. I'm not sure. I blamed it on Lindsay a lot. I missed a logistics final to have sex with my wife.
Did it all for the deep dish.
Probably worth it.
Whoa. Can we just clarify? She wasn't your wife at the time.
She wasn't my wife
right.
at the time.
We got to make sure that we
Right.
draw
She was
that
a
line
new
there.
girlfriend.
Because you wouldn't have done that if she was your wife.
No, I gotta get to work. No, no, it wasn't. It was it's her fault. I dropped out of college because of Lindsay
Oh.
and her enticing ways.
Men are weak
They're
like that.
enticing.
Yeah, she got great
Yeah.
feet.
Yeah.
So actually, we should rewind. I know we brought up the feet thing every episode so far.
Every episode.
But shortly
Yeah.
after
Theme
Lindsay,
here.
shortly
Mark, keep
after,
your shoes on.
shortly after she found out that I brought up the feet thing on the podcast, she's like, "Why would you do that?" I was like, "I thought it was funny." The next day, she's like, we're watching Netflix, and she puts her foot up on my lap and starts wiggling her toes. she goes, "Baby, Chuck." I'm like, "What?" She's like, "We should sell feet pics." I was like, "I suggested this months ago, and you were adamantly against it." She's like, "Yeah, but I know some people. I talked to some people, and like, they're making a killing. I was like, let's fucking just do it.
So weird.
What?
It is,
Who,
but
why?
it's the thing.
I said
Who does that?
I said the only thing weird about it would be like the guys that are gonna send dick pics. And I'm like, well, just ignore those.
How do you ignore them? Because you don't know what they are until you open them.
No, you know they're dick pics.
How? Because it's from a guy?
Because
Yes.
they're always
Maybe they're
dick
sending
pics.
back their feet.
I don't care, dude.
Oh.
$10 bucks a
That's
month.
not
Which I guess is
fine.
I
just
don't
as
care.
bad.
Subscribe. Pay me $10 a month. You get 2 feet pics a week, a month, whatever.
That's no.
I think it was her way. She's like, I need to get a pedicure. I was like, you were gonna ask for that anyway.
No.
I
Mark,
think it's a great idea. Supplemental income.
I think it's Mark, would you ever let
Don't
your
judge.
wife go on like Feet Finder or
No.
OnlyFans
No.
for any
Oh.
reason at all?
Well, she wouldn't do that anyways. I wouldn't like tell her like, oh, let's do it, but she would not do it anyways. Her like feet are more like functional than they are like anything. She's probably gonna kill me for this, but like she does have one of those like feet that like you can pick something up in the ground. It's like, there you go. Like she's got very functional feet. She can like
The greatest comment any woman has ever received.
Feetfunction.com.
Those are super functional.
they're like other hands. Like she can
Can she
drop
grab a
something.
beer?
There you go. What?
Could she grab a beer with her feet?
Oh yeah.
Well, she's not
I
a
can
big
see.
beer
I mean,
drinker,
I've never
but
seen her do
she
it, but I can like she's like had like my she can wrestle with her feet. Like she can like sit there and like the
Jessica.
whole Andre the Giant putting your hand up and just doing the whole like grabbing your hand like you
Yeah.
let her feet just take your hand down, just bend your hand back and it's like, oh okay, I'm done.
Super functional feet.
Wow.
Amazing.
Wow. Yeah,
Coach, here I come.
it's not that this didn't come up with between Jessica
I got
and
a
I
week.
after Charlie's fetish day, and Jessica started getting a little confidence about her feet because, as we've discovered,
oh.
she has very tiny toes. But some guys are into that,
Something here.
and so Jessica's like, and I'm like, hell no,
Oh my goodness.
no, absolutely not. I would rather have no money than to have you flaunting
What?
those
Oh,
tiny
come on.
toes to all these perverted guys and have them send you dick pics. No, because who knows? I mean, even after I open that email from tomorrow and I add 6 inches, there's still guys out
That's
there
what
that are going to be more
I was
impressive
going
than
to
me.
say. Based on the conversations we've had so far, it seems like you're doing okay, Mo. And that, like, why be afraid of a couple dick pics?
Because there's always going to be that next person there's always that next contender. There's always somebody that takes your spots.
not all of them have this
Remember Mike
successful
Tyson?
podcast.
Now there isn't a Mike Tyson. Now there's
He's
a new
still
Mike
there.
Tyson.
Who's the new Mike Tyson?
I don't
There's
know.
no new
I don't
Mike
even know who
Tyson.
boxes anymore. It's pathetic. Used to love boxing. That's another topic for another day.
Ah.
Mark, you're our guest. You're our guest here, and you're a part of the Craft Beer Mafia. Like I said, you are the sergeant at arms
I am.
of the Craft Beer Mafia, which I just want to make sure that you know what that responsibility is. What is the responsibility of the sergeant of arms?
Well, the responsibility is to make sure that the integrity and the rules of Craft Beer Mafia are followed. And I got that title because I would find weird and funny ways to like play on someone's name and make fun of them for not following the rules.
What are the rules?
Pour it, score it, and go fuck yourself.
Pretty simple. And yet there are people out there that just can't do it.
We touched on rule number 3 a lot yesterday.
Yes.
Yes.
Did. Yes.
Touch the operable word.
Yeah.
So
Romancing yourself, if you will.
Go and just treat yourself.
well,
Treat yourself.
to it.
yeah. I mean,
Special
you
touch.
used to do a really good job being sergeant at arms. You've laxed for like a year now. You're not really on top of everybody that comes on this page and does
That's
their
what
work.
he
But that's okay. We still love you anyway. You are one of the most beloved people on the page, which is why you're our guest today. And even if we can't understand a word you say, it's still, you just have a charm. And you've clearly been doing this for a long time. Charlie earlier was going through your old Facebook pictures and looking at you as a child and looking at your feet. And so, you clearly have been drinking for a long time. What is your relationship with beer? When does it go back to?
Oh.
What was the year? Does it go back to 1974?
It was way too early because I was like probably 12 or 13, growing up like in Southie.
That's illegal.
I know, but like here's the deal: like the summertime, a lot of knowing in Southie, a lot of people are Irish, and a lot of people are trades workers, which is nothing wrong with that. But working at a restaurant that's right by a bunch of construction sites in Boston, you find out that the trade workers like to drink. It's just hand in hand. You got to deal with shitty work. You got to drink to compensate for that. Well, they had kids. And we decided one summer day when one of my friend's mother and father were away or whatever, that we wanted to drink. And we brought together the weirdest collection of drinks you'd ever imagine. Because it was like 2 Coronas,
Whatever you could find at the parents' house.
Some sort of malt drink, Mick Ultra, something, not even Mick Ultra. Wasn't there used to be like a Michelob regular?
Yeah, it was just Mick Heavies.
Yeah, there was a Mick, and then there was a bunch of nips, because tradespeople have nips everywhere they go. Like it was like Easter. You go to your friend's dad's bedroom, you're like, hey, where's his nips? You found about 4 or 5 nips. And it was
Charlie
like 4 or
on a
5 of us.
Yeah.
Summertime, we decided we were going to drink these all. It was the worst tasting experience of my life because I was way too young to drink, but there was no supervision.
Did you kitchen sink it? Did you put it all together?
No, we just took turns, like taking shots and taking passing around the Coronas and everything.
Was the malt beverage like one of the malt beers or like an E&J wine cooler?
No, it was a wine cooler.
Yeah.
I think it was like the early wine
I
coolers.
tried to cover that
And I was
up.
like,
Yeah.
I was born in '86. I was probably again 12 years old, so that's 98,
Dude, the blue Hawaiian
97.
E&J's, delicious.
Oh, and I remember because the kid lived right next to the Boys and Girls Club in Southie, and we went to the Boys and Girls Club and challenged the kids that were playing kickball to a game of kickball. And then we got chased out of
Drunken
there.
kickball.
Because, like, the council was like, you can't be here. What are you doing? Get out of here. And it's like, oh, crap. Like,
But who won?
Oh, we didn't get to play. Like, they didn't, like, we shouldn't have even been there. Like, they were like, oh, no, what are you doing here? Like,
You can't just you're not allowed to
Why
challenge
weren't
somebody
you-
to a kickball game?
Yeah, why weren't you allowed to play kickball?
Well, they were in a like the dump your kids off to a summer program thing the other day.
And you were a visiting team.
And we weren't there.
A visiting
we
team.
weren't like, we just decided to take over. Like, hey, we're like on the side of the
an
we're like
invading gang, more
we're
like.
that bad old movie where the kids that would sit there and make fun of the main actor character. Like, hey, you want to fight? Like we were Johnny Lawrence.
But yeah,
We were Johnny Lawrence. We were sitting there like we were like, hey, you want to play? We'll beat you right now. Like smoking cigarettes, drinking at 12, 13 years old. Like, what are you doing
If
right
I'm those
now?
kids, I would have
Miss
taken
Smith.
you up on the challenge regardless. I would have
I'm
told
sure
our
they did,
counselors,
but there
I'm
was
like,
there was
we want to
counselors
play.
like, no, get him out of here. Like,
Miss
this is
Smith called the
liability.
cops.
Get out of here.
That's crap. That's absolute.
That was my first
Gentrification
time.
at its finest. The locals wanted to play some kickball.
Yeah.
Gentrification didn't happen yet. It was all local on local crime.
Oh.
We just didn't have the means to be able to go to the summer
The school,
programs
yeah.
yet. Like my parents, they weren't able to kick me out of there yet. Like
Create
no.
your own summer program.
Yeah. I did 1-2 years of it. I learned how to tie a knot and sail a sailboat one summer, and that was it.
I don't know how to sail a boat.
Most of us don't know how to sail a
Well,
boat.
luckily, you didn't have to figure it out in the Boston Harbor. Yeah, great. Don't dive in. You might grow a third leg.
So was that your first experience
time.
with beer?
Yeah. Corona was my first experience with beer, and it was...
Do you still drink Corona now?
I never drink Corona. Never.
My man.
My guilty pleasure is Miller, the High Life.
Did you vote for Rolling Rock?
I didn't really... I left that one alone.
Do you think Rolling Rock is the worst beer ever?
No, I mean...
What would you put as like your top 3 worst beers of all time?
I mean, I gotta do... Probably for me, it would be...
Corn. It's a big lump of nuts. It's got the juice. Sorry, you just led me into that.
Yeah, right into that. No, mine would probably be Bud Light, Heineken, and Natty Ice.
Legit 3?
The Natty Ice,
I think
like, I've
one out
had
of the
bad
3 is
experience
legit.
with it where like I drank too much of it that it hurt my head. I hate
Yeah.
Bud Light, and then Heineken just has that. Heineken has the Rolling Rock appeal to me that it has for you guys.
Yeah.
Just Heineken, like, I taste it and it tastes like...
It's the same thing. Green
It
bottle
is,
beer.
yeah.
It's
Well,
awful.
there's like Heineken has diacetyl in it on purpose. What's diacetyl? Well,
Diacetyl is the banana tasting buttery. Yeah. I am a Cicerone, damn it.
no, you're not.
Mark
said
what is
so.
your worst?
Mark said so.
Go away, both. Jessica, this is the welcome to MOBEER Cold Takes, the Jessica and Mo show. Sisson, what
You're
so
you're
that was your
stealing my
first
questions right now.
experience.
It's the Mo show.
It's a Mo show.
Yeah.
Do you have
all-
questions?
This was all me. It says Jessica.
Oh, that yeah. You know what? I
Talk
put
to
those
Mark.
together. So talk to Mark.
No.
Talk to him.
You just go right ahead. You just
Talk to him.
I
I don't really. I haven't changed that since week 1.
Well, that's my name.
Do you have a question for Mark?
And I prepared
Do
myself.
you have a question for Mark?
Well, yeah. 'cause
Then ask Mark a question.
You
Oh,
wrote
goodness.
it here.
Mark, this is like when Dad hit Mom at the dinner table.
Yeah.
And we have to,
So true.
I haven't seen this before. I'm not like
it's
going my
fine.
little zone
It's
here.
fine.
What was
Just eat your chicken.
What was the best beer? Your first best beer, right? Is that how you wanted that question phrased? Because it just says
No,
best beer.
it's not even on there. It's not even on
It
the show.
says tell
I'm
us your
so
first
best
beer,
beer.
confused
and
right
then
now.
your best
Are we
beer
opening the
story.
Cheez-Its or are we not opening Cheez-Its today?
Oh my god, I want a divorce. If there's any good divorce attorneys on here,
No, that's
please
actually
reach
that's a
out.
legit question though. If we're being fair, that's a legit question. Your
Yeah.
first best beer, like what was your first go-to that if you were like, hey, junior in high school with the mustache, what I need you to go to Packy for me. I got $10. What are they getting you?
I mean, at that point, I switched over to liquor. Like, it was like when I was getting a Hey Buddy. It was because it was easier to get it around. I grew up in the city, so like you can hide liquor better than you can hide beer. My first best beer would be from my brother when Trillium was only at down at the seaport. He worked at Road 43.
He pushed into Trillium as a young man.
He worked at Road 34. He was one of the chefs there. That was like the spot that they would go to. That was the only restaurant that they would sell beer to at the time, because they would go there after work and all drink there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was back when like Trillium tasted like hops alcoholic hops in a bottle. Like it tasted
Really?
like
It was bad?
fresh. No, great.
Oh.
Like that's where Trillium got its name from. Like when he would drink them when they were first kind of starting out. So it tasted like that, like punch you in the mouth hop flavor that you get that got them their fame and fortune, because they were just starting out. And he would give me like what was it, the Four Corners, like one of their first street beers, like their first couple of ones, A Street or whatever
Belcher
it was.
Street.
Yeah, Melcher and all that, like
Belcher,
whatever it was. Like he gave me like one of the big 23-ounce bottles, and that was the first time I actually had a craft beer, and I was like, wow, I'm drunk off of one bottle, but wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Trillium was the first IPA I ever liked.
Yeah, it was the first time I was like, that's the first, probably the same, honestly. Like before that, I was drinking mostly liquor, mostly bourbon and tequila.
Harpoon
Harpoon's
the
good.
OG
I mean,
for me.
I will say
Harpoon.
Harpoon's good.
OG IPA. But I didn't drink that at the age that you were drinking Trillium. We didn't even have it. I couldn't even get into. There were obviously IPAs, but they weren't sold in stores. It's obviously an old style, but it wasn't around. That's why I despise. I don't have a guilty pleasure beer. If I have a guilty pleasure beer, it's a craft independent. It's like Sea Dog Blueberry.
Sea Dog Blueberry. Yeah, those are your two.
I don't
No, it's
have
Pumpkinhead.
Or
Your
Pumpkinhead.
guilty pleasure beer is Pumpkinhead.
It's Pumpkinhead, but that's better than Bud Light and Mick Ultra and any of those other pansy beers. Heineken and Rolling Rock, but yeah,
Pumpkin spice.
I think it's about time we play some asshole.
Okay,
You want to play some asshole?
Yeah.
sure.
All right, so Mark, are you in? You're the
I'm in.
first guest ever. You are setting the precedent. So in the future, when we have guests, they're going to think, well, do guests have to play asshole? So they're either not going to show up with us, or they're going to look like an asshole if they don't play asshole. Well,
I'm in.
then as our
You
guest,
guys?
you get to perk the first card.
Oh, the dog's in the window.
Yeah, judging us hard.
Jessica?
Oh, it's sticky.
That's what she said.
Icky.
Yeah,
Shucks.
I'd like to get into the meat of the
I thought you
pile.
were going to take that very top
That
card.
meat.
Well, you are going to take the very top
Yeah,
card.
I
Well, I'm
am.
gonna take
Once
the next
again, I
one.
am not the asshole.
You're not?
Nope.
All right, so nobody's ever been asshole twice. I'm going to take the top card, too. No, that's not fair. Well, I have
You
to now.
picked
I
it.
can't
Yeah,
pick.
you
I
can
just
go
didn't want you
back.
guys to
I
think
bet you're the asshole.
I'm going to be. Nobody's ever been twice.
Everybody, don't look at it. Don't look at it. Did you already
No,
look
I
at
haven't
it?
seen it yet.
Everyone up like this. Mo, turn to me.
Oh, yes!
Fuck yeah.
Come on!
Yep.
Are we serious?
We
No.
predicted this. We predicted
We
this
did predict
earlier.
this. I am going to be the
At
asshole
Uno's.
so many times.
Move it out here.
And Charlie is never going to get it.
I may not.
We've got a couple of new ones on there that I added today, which I'm scared about because I didn't want to have to do it myself. Spin away.
That was your best spin yet. What is it?
Hell.
Face straw Coors
Oh,
Light.
face straw. Okay.
What's a face
well, I'm not happy
straw?
about the Coors
Do
Light
you have a
part.
Coors Light?
I do think I have a Coors Light on preparation over here. We do not have a Coors Light. This Coors Light in that fridge right there.
Can we get it?
And the face straw. This is going to be tough because the face straw doesn't seem to be very big.
There's a couple things on this wheel that I think all of us have been like waiting for to like a couple like monumental thing, like the graveyard jug or the boot. There's a couple things on here that I'm really excited. I'm gonna be excited with it.
I am the
I feel like we should spin again because he's gotten it twice, so we should be able to spin it again and pick the best one out of the 2 spins.
No. That's not no.
We make up.
It's already bad enough I have to drink a Coors Light, the 5th worst beer of all time according to the Craft Beer Mafia. Look, there's a kink in the straw. I'm supposed to wait. Oh, there is a long straw.
It's glasses, right?
Yeah, it's glasses. And
so
we all right. This one goes into my face. It doesn't stay on.
Yeah. No, you gotta
go
wrap
behind
around
your ears, man.
Wrap that around your freaking ear.
No, I have to drink out of this part.
No, just chill and just put and then that there, and then put that one around your other ear. No, the other one.
Yep.
In your mouth.
Yep. And then that.
Yeah, and then
that one goes in the can.
That thing goes there.
You look
this
like
thing
a
here.
moron.
No, this is not the number one. No, the number 5 worst beer in the world, according to Craft Beer Mafia.
Coors Light. There you go, Nate.
Get that piece of tape off of.
There's a piece of tape.
Yeah, right there.
Bothering
It's
everybody.
It's fine. All right, Nate. I'm about to drink a Coors Light through my glasses for you. Nate's my brother who drinks nothing but Coors Light. Now this is not a chug, but I'm going to try to drink this is through a straw.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to kill it. Oh, that's not him. That's what she said. All right.
You need to go deeper.
It's so cold around my eyes.
This is a deep
This
burn.
is refreshing.
The
I
Coors
haven't
Light?
tasted the beer yet. But the beer going around my ears
cooling your
and my eyes, I am so refreshed right now.
I'm so jealous.
This feels so good. This is better than sex.
Okay.
Mm.
It's fine.
You guys are going to have to fill the
Low
show.
standard here. It's,
I know.
Jessica, this is, well, I'm doing this. You
More
might want to
Netflix
talk about your
time for
next
me.
Ditzy Blonde moment.
Okay, yeah, that one. All right, let's talk about the time that I thought Dunkin' Donuts had a more gourmet menu than they do. So one time I went into Dunkin' Donuts and I was a
Oh,
little
this is
bit
disgusting.
hungover, and I never get donuts, but I decided I'm going to get a donut this time. So I'm looking at all the donuts and the flavors, and I'm like, And the guy goes, you know what you want? I go, yeah. What is a sugar red donut? He goes, sugared. That sounds delicious. I'll have 2 of those, please.
You sound like the sweaty balls women.
Sugar red.
Sugar red. That's delicious. I wish I had beer going around my eyeballs right now.
I love your balls.
You talking to Mo or?
No, I was doing the sweaty balls.
I've killed that with it.
Is there anything edible at Dunkin' Donuts that's good?
Not unless you're hungover, I think.
What?
Well, I mean, they have the
Maybe not anymore.
sandwiches.
Maybe like a one-time deal, yeah, but like you have it twice, you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Their
No, I mean,
hash
what
browns are good.
suspect. Oh yeah, I think
Those
I'm
are-
down
No,
south.
they're not.
Their hash browns are good,
No.
but
Good compared to what?
back in the day, like the crullers were
Back
awesome.
in the day, sure.
Their donuts were awesome.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
hash browns are good compared to what? Not hash browns? like not.
The worst part about this is I have a straw in my mouth. I can't really interject in this conversation. I'm trying to kill this Coors Light, and I've got like a third of it gone. That's it. I cannot get the straw. The beer
I'm not
through the straw.
finishing this one for you like I did the Natty Daddy.
My dog wants to. She's so
Yeah.
jealous right now.
All right.
No one wanted to
Do
entertain
you
the
want
Dunkin'.
me to move on while you drink your cold
Yeah,
beer?
somebody's got to take control of the show
Well-
because I'm the asshole.
The thing about Dunkin' Donuts is that like it's good the first time you have it, like the whatever it is you're getting, but then not really the second time or third. I mean,
Yeah. I used to be a big fan. I don't go there anymore.
I just
I'm a
don't think
Starbucks
any of the
snob.
food, like all of the food, is a mistake.
Yeah.
All the time.
Pretty
Usually.
much. It's like microwave. The eggs are cold in the middle. Whatever.
weird.
When you're drunk, hungover, it's good.
That's
There's no.
Do
there's
people
so
go to
many better
Dunkin' Donuts for the food?
There's so many better places in the morning that you could get drunk hungover breakfast food for the same price.
Yeah, I don't know. I just,
Denny's.
I wanted a sugar red donut.
Sugar Red. Denny's does not have Sugar Red donuts. Denny's does have the Grand Slamwich, which is fucking
Yeah, that
delicious.
sounds amazing.
You're ridiculous.
Yeah, you really are.
I'm the asshole.
Moon's over my hammy. This is a Denny's commercial, by the way.
All right, I did it.
Mark, why don't you start off with telling us where? Let's do it. Where I fucked up in life. Oh my God. So you started off where I fucked up in life. I will listen to your story when we play this back because I'm gonna explode. I drank so much water trying to protect my liver today. I'm just gonna dip out.
Where do we explode?
Where do we explode?
But so my whole thing about this topic was really tough because like a lot of my like where would you end up would end me up where I don't want to be, which is like I'm kind of happy where I am. But that being said, way back when my parents decided that they wanted to move out of Southie and they had the money to be able to buy a house, they wanted to move to the suburbs. And I remember them wanting to move to like the Acton Boxbow area, which would put me in the
One Coors Light, man. What the fuck?
Oh my God!
It's actually in my crotch. I can't see that. I don't know how that happened, but God, I'm sorry. Mark.
This is what happens when you don't pour beer in a glass. By the way,
yeah, exactly.
But you gotta pour.
You should never drink it through a straw, through your eyes, through your ears. That is
Through
what we
your
just
nose,
learned.
through your toes.
On the thing?
Oh God, it was nasty. Sorry, Mark.
So I played football for 11 years. Like I love the sport almost as much as hockey, just because how long I played. But I could have played a little bit longer, had been a little bit better if I went to a school that had like funding to to their football team. I played in Latin Academy. They put all their money in academics, so like we practiced and played at White Stadium with 5 other teams, and it was a joke of a league. But we talked my parents out of moving out of the city, out of Southie, because we just thought it was the coolest thing to do was to grow up in Southie, and we were like, no, we want to stay here. No. But if I had moved, it would have been into an area that had a better football program. I could have been a little bit better, and also probably been a little bit better off because I would have made connections with people in like rich, nice upscale neighborhoods, whereas I just kind of made my way on my own. So I didn't have a good messed up story because it's like most of the stuff was like leave me away from my wife, and like I actually do like her as much as I annoy the hell out of her. Like I do like her, so it's like I can't say that because then she's gonna like I let you slide for the feet thing, but like you would have ended up without me. Like now you're out. So I'm like I have no good story.
That's okay.
You think she's gonna listen to this?
This
Do you think
one
she will?
probably.
But you wouldn't.
No,
Neither one of you guys would have ever known that you wouldn't have been together in that space-time continuum, and maybe you were a zillionaire, maybe you had like 7 wives, maybe. So you just never. She can't get mad at you.
No,
if you're
very true. But she got rid of me like a couple times. I kept coming back to her. So like, she did.
So you still have PTSD for that. You're afraid that tonight you're gonna go home. She's gonna hear this and she's gonna get rid of you again.
No.
There's not a chance she's getting rid of you.
I already told her that when this came, it was like, no, it's for life. I'm sorry, I don't believe in divorce. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, this is like a really like, nope, we're not doing it.
Wait, she believes in divorce though?
I don't know.
She was arguing with you about it?
No.
Right from the start?
She I want to fucking dump you all the time.
She's like, I'll do what I'm going to do.
She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, this is what's happening. She's like, okay. So I'm like, what are you talking about? But
I want to dive into Erin's participation on the page.
She's a freaking badass.
That one video?
Yeah.
Oh, does that work?
Was there one or two? I know the one I'm thinking of is her taking, 7 shots of Irish whiskey?
No, it was
in a row?
different whiskey because I still have some of the Japanese whiskey at the house. She went out and bought like a bunch of different whiskey from around the world. Irish.
How many
went
was
around
it?
the world?
Yeah, she did a
was like
Japanese
7,
whiskey.
right?
She did a couple different.
She
shots.
stole one of your good ones. I remember you calling her out for
no,
it.
she incorporated a Lagavulin. That's like my special.
Yes, it was
scotch.
Lagavulin. I said that.
Yeah, it's one of my special scotches. I reserve for just like every once in a while, like when it's a special occasion, I'll pull out the Lagavulin. It's my little Ron Swanson from Parks and Recs. I love that. That's the only smoked liquor that I really love.
Yeah.
And she pulled that out. I'm like, and I'm like, I would be mad, but you took like 8 shots in a row. So like, cheers on you. Like, good job, babe. Like, also you were passed out 45 minutes later.
I was going to ask how that went.
How soon after that did you see her?
I closed, but I knew she went down because she stopped answering my texts.
She
I'm like,
went
oh,
down.
she's down. She's down. And I went home and she was still in the
So
same
what you're
spot.
saying is whiskey
On the couch?
leads to going down?
Not that kind of going down.
Sometimes.
Oh,
What?
No. Well,
well.
Not
It
for
definitely
me.
does.
Woo! Awkward silence there. I don't
Start
have.
feeding me whiskey.
No.
Yeah. Well,
She's a whiskey girl.
yeah. Well, we need to. On the Mafia page itself, we don't need any more whiskey, but we need more. Erin,
Well, she comes with a whiskey.
you're on a podcast, so shaking your head doesn't do any good.
No, she. You know what? Honestly, like, she doesn't do beer. She'll never do beer. But like, if you want some whiskey shots in there, well, maybe like a translator in the background.
Yeah,
We can get more, Aaron.
I think we can do that.
I think we
Okay.
can. We can.
It's all about
convince
content,
her.
baby.
I want to hear more about Mark's job, and you don't have to say where you work if you don't want to.
No, it's fine.
But you are a manager at
The
probably
house.
one of the Art House. Well, I was going to say probably one of the best beer bars in the area. I don't know. I don't know if
I
there's,
mean, it nowadays it really depends on the manager because like we have. Well, I found like
less
ways.
discretion.
Well, less discretion. We are supposed to have a certain amount of beers that we can add on, like 20. But I found that we can manipulate the other list that we have on our paper menu. So I've manipulated it to like the full list because honestly, like the more local, I mean, the local list sells more than the hardbound list that are given to us. So I know I'm doing the right thing, and I have the backing of my bosses that believe in it because like, okay, if it doesn't sell, replace it. So I enjoy really getting into more of like localized beer, and more so than other locations. Like I do, like when I remember one time, I don't mean to drop Andy Ferg. Like he went to.
You think you can drop
can't
Andy
say-
Ferg?
You can't.
Like I mean, just
you
like
can't say that
talking
name
about
here.
Andy Ferg.
Are
But
you challenging him?
I mean, I'm slow center of gravity. He
So
would
you-
be surprised. I just
Yeah.
sit there. I lift kegs for a living. Like I just sit there and grab him by his ankles, and he'd be on his
No, this is interesting because you know how like Barstool has Rough and Rowdy and
like low center of gravity. He would be surprised. And
Yeah.
he'd come find me.
so you're
just
challenging
called you
Ferg.
out.
I will. Yeah. Well,
You're
Well,
here first.
I
So
mean-
we have an off premise.
Let's just all be friends.
Yeah, that's the main event.
No, it'll be friendly.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
I mean,
no, it'll be friendly.
yeah, for the announcements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But once you guys get going, okay. Anyway,
But he went to the Linfield location and he was like, "Oh, like this is like nothing really to like what I thought you guys had like beer." I'm like, "Did you ask for the local list?" But no, I'm like, "Next time you come in for a Sox game, come to Fenway and I'll show them I do put."
So the,
whoa.
physical list.
no,
Yeah.
that's not okay.
No, it's included.
That's like going to like In-N-Out Burger and having to ask for the
no,
secret menu.
it's included in the menu. It's just that he like got one that didn't have it like clipped into the menu. So I'm like, "Did you even like
Whose
have like?"
responsibility was that?
Oh, it's the bar. It's not my bar. Like it's the Linfield bar. Like that wasn't on me.
Paul Lezinski.
He came to Fenway before a game with his family, and I'm like, "Hey, look at this." He's like, "You have this, you have that." I'm like, "Yeah." Like I do pride myself on putting on good beer.
How many different beers do you have on tap?
117.
Oh,
117
Holy
taps or 117
smokes.
different beers?
180 taps with 117
Jesus.
different beers.
It's amazing.
Wow.
And I've picked about 50 of them.
Solid.
And like they're all local. Like my whole thing was I want to turn that paper menu into everything in New England. There's Rockport's on there. Wandering Souls is
You
on
have
there.
Rockport on
I have
draft?
Rockport Hatchet since
Send
about
it.
a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Not the same keg, right?
No,
Okay,
no, it
good.
sells. It actually
Yeah.
does sell. Like you would be surprised since no one in that area would know Rockport because it's like it's not like a commercially known brewery
Right.
for like people in like because in that neighborhood, if you're not going to a game, you're in college or you're in the medical field.
Yeah.
So that they don't necessarily always know about like local craft. They just see what's local because a lot of times like they're traveling from a different state,
Yeah.
whatever it may be. So like I Widowmaker's on there. I have Mass Landing on there. Like I have one of my favorite pilsners in like all time for American pilsners is the Zero Gravity Green State Lager. If you haven't had it, like and you tell me that an American brewery can do a better pilsner, I'll call you a liar.
That's
Because
not nice.
like it like for American breweries, like it has like that raw dough flavor that a pilsner should have, but then like a toasted buttery biscuit at the end with a little bit of hop.
Love butter
Like
biscuits.
That's a Cicerone right there, Mo.
It's delicious.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
I'm not a Cicerone. I'm a beer server because I'm not allowed to be a Cicerone.
I think you should be allowed to be a Cicerone.
I know one kid that is a Cicerone, like, cause he took the second level, and like this kid,
Yeah, I know this
is
kid.
Charlie.
He's not from
he's
Boston
from
at
Walpole.
all,
He's
huh?
not from Boston. Like,
Yeah, I
he's
know
from
the
Walpole.
kid. I know this kid from
And, like,
Walpole.
He
He's a
sounds
Cicerone.
like Charlie Day.
Used to hang out. Yeah. He used to hang out with like Mark Wahlberg and shit. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they got their Cicerones together. Yeah.
Joe LaRose. He's a kid from. He's like.
No, if you had given me 4 guesses on a name, I would have gone with like Tom O'Malley, Smitty, Fitzy, and then Joe LaRose. Totally Boston names.
Never grew up in Boston. The kid is from Walpole.
16.9 ounces is absolutely perfect for the craft beer Mafia glass.
Oh, I'm drinking the
Look at
same
that.
thing right
That is
now.
the exact. Look at the head is perfect.
That is nice.
It's
Oh.
drip dropping. We got a
twinning.
couple of heifers here right now.
We're
It
twinning.
is Twisted Fate Brewery's Heffin' Wizen.
Yep.
What's the percentage on that?
4.7%.
4.7 because sometimes you feel like a pussy.
I'm a little nervous to get
Sometimes
into the
you
Heffy. I don't traditionally enjoy
So
Hefeweizens.
they taste a little like farmhouse beers to me because
I
it's
don't
got like
see
that wheat, like that farmy wheat, like dry, like hay taste. But I
very
would have given you
good.
some, but it actually fit my glass very well.
Well, I have one in my cooler. I just haven't opened it yet. A lot of times, Heavies taste to me like the Belgian ones, like that banana and clove.
Yeah, banana's
Flavor.
a definite flavor.
And it's like, that's like, Hoogarden is a popular Hefeweizen that you can find in stores that I
I find
can't
this
get over
very
it.
drinkable.
Yeah, this is
Very
delicious.
drinkable.
Very drinkable. I wouldn't. It's not my first go-to beer style, and you don't need to with Twisted Fate because they've got all the different beers. But this is good.
It is.
I'm not even sure why I grabbed it, but I did. And Twisted Fate Brewery, 120 Andover Street, next to Guitar Center. You play any instruments, Charlie?
Do I play any instruments?
Yeah, that you would need like Guitar Center for.
No, no. I tried to teach myself how to play piano for a while, and I learned like 3 songs. and-
Chopsticks,
No,
Twilight Zone,
no. It
And
was
Jingle
like
Bells.
no, it was like poppy punk shit in the
Poppy Punk shit.
in like the mid 2000s, like Southern Comfort. No, that was my first alcohol experience. Something corporate sounds like Southern Comfort. Jack's Mannequin, not Jack's Abbey. Almost said that too,
but you did anyway.
but I did anyway.
Yeah.
No, I would never go to Guitar Center for myself.
I drum, so I get my sticks there, and sometimes cymbals, and I love it. But the point is that it's right with the Guitar Center, so when you go up and pick the sticks up or your strings or whatever you play, you can go there too. There's a Walmart behind it. That's not really helpful, but so the Cheez-Its are open.
Mhm.
We've got 2 Cheez-Its. We've got the extra cheesy that we had in episode 1.
And we've supported those.
And now we have grooves.
Grooves.
And you've told us that you love the extra cheesy. You like the regular. Like, rank them now because you forgot grooves.
I did forget grooves in the original ranking of Cheez-Its. Cheez-Its original are number 1. Like, it's just number 1. The rating champion.
Yeah.
Extra cheesy, I had for the first time here, are number 2.
Okay.
And then it drops off pretty hard, honestly. Oh no, the grooves are number 3.
Yeah.
Grooves are number 3.
Yeah.
I normally don't like the flavored Cheez-Its because I don't think they do flavor dust well. But these ranches aren't bad. After that, like grooves are not bad. Again, puffs are
Yeah, you're just very angry about puffs.
it's a ripoff. Duos, again, they don't. Regular
Love the
Cheez-Its,
Duos.
sponsor us, please. I swear I'm not talking too much shit. Regular Cheez-Its great, extra cheesy good. Toasted can go away. Again, like Jess said, the one extra toasty mixed around the regular Cheez-Its is a nice treat. A whole box, too much.
Too much.
What if you like took a box of everything and just mixed them all together?
Chaos. You anarchist?
I do that. And then I put some Parmesan cheese on it, throw some pretzels in. It's amazing.
Mo, where did you fuck up in life? Let's hear this.
the beginning of this show. Yeah. So we've already talked about this, actually. I've been married before. So right there, that's like start and end of the story right there. I dated the same girl right after high school for like 5 years. And, you know, at that time in your life, you think that you're going to get married. All of my generations, my parents, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents, everybody, they got married at like 18 or 19, had kids by the time they were 20. And then here I am now. That girl broke up with me. I'm 24, and I'm like, oh no, what do I do now? So I basically married the next girl I dated, which was Miss England there. And wedding day, I had my opportunities. It's our wedding day, and I still haven't figured it out, but I was so close. So we got married in a Catholic church. I'm not religious at all, but we got married in the church because we thought that's what you're supposed to do. Doors open. That's the moment, right? That's the moment where you look at that, you know, your bride, and you're like, oh, that's amazing. Honestly, that's what happened with Jessica when we weren't in a church, but when the doors opened and she appeared, I went,
cry?
oh,
Did
that's
you cry?
amazing. I'm a fucking man. Why would I cry?
Mark, did you cry?
No, but we had a backyard wedding, so it was very relaxed. That was during COVID, so like it had a different feel to it. Like it was definitely magical, but like
I remember.
I had the ability to like keep it together because it wasn't such a big spectacle. Where it was
I
like a
cry
million-
at other people's fucking weddings.
I would have been
Let alone, I cried at my own
Charlie,
too.
I
I can't stop. Like,
I
dude,
would have had a
What is to cry
time.
about? I should have
I get
cried because my reaction when the doors open was literally, I tell this to everybody, that's the best you could do on your wedding day? That was my thought. So I should have cried because I was ruining my life. So she comes up. We're in the middle of the ceremony. We're kneeling down in front of the priest with she, myself, our bridesmaids, our groomsmen are all next to us, all kneeling in prayer, and she passes out. And so she's right next to me. She passes out. And one of my friends leans over and he goes, that's the sign, Mo. Run now. So I verbally got it.
you know this story?
And like my cameraman, you know, normally like in football when a streaker goes across the field or there's somebody that's really injured bad, they take the camera off of them. The guy, the cameraman, left it on. He's like, this is going to be great. And here's the thing. My entire family is medical. We have nurses, paramedics, everything. Nobody moves.
Everyone's like,
Nobody moves.
Just wait.
Because they're like, we're in a church. God didn't say we were done with the prayer yet. And so you'll let her lay.
It's in his hands.
Nobody moved.
If it be
Nobody.
damned, Jesus
Including
said
my
no.
stupid ass that could have ran at the time. And of course, the marriage was horrible. It only lasted a couple of years.
Was she was drunk out? I'm
No,
assuming?
she was nervous. She was just nervous. It was all nerves, and it was hot in there, I guess. But she hadn't eaten, you know, to that point either. So I don't know. I mean, it was. It may not have been that stuff. It might have just been literally like, if there is a God, God struck her down to try to help me, and I still didn't listen.
Run, you idiot,
It was like run, Forrest, and I'm like, oh, I don't. I'm not even supposed. I'm just trying to remember the words of like a prayer like that we're supposed to do. That is just singing like church songs. Church songs in general, they can't come up with anything better than just coming up. Like, here in the world, like, all right. So there's a sign in front of us right now, and this is how every church song goes: rules for dating my daughter. Get a job.
It's not wrong.
It's just everything is the same. And
Stand, kneel,
standing,
kneel.
like, yeah, and you're looking around.
What are we doing?
Why are we kneeling again? We're not even praying. Why? Well, to kneel? Like,
If we were in a church with church acoustics, you would have sounded great. By the way,
thank you
Yeah.
very
like
much.
I'm not like, dude, like just
Can I tell
echoing
you,
through.
like, since we're
I
talking
could
about
see-
church,
I could see you in a white robe
Yeah.
presenting the Lord's gifts.
I always look to be the woman with the highest like piercing voice, so I'm always like, praise Jesus.
So,
Like the little short lady there, and
can I tell you guys
Poltergeist.
a story about church
Yeah.
since we're on the topic and since I see a lot of Simpsons paraphernalia?
Sure,
So
the
like this
Simpsons
should
have a lot
not
in
be a
common.
funny story, but this is one of my all-time favorite church stories ever, and it happened at my grandmother's funeral. So here's the deal. Like obviously I come from my mother's side is a very Italian, like 100% Italian. My grandmother and my grandfather were the first ones born in America, pretty much. The rest of the siblings were born in Italy. My grandfather was conceived before he went over, and she was pregnant on the boat, had him when she came over. So, of course, she's going to have a church funeral. It's all the bells and whistles. So, we're very sad because she's the matriarch of the family. Like, it actually is a serious, like, funeral, and it's a very somber event because she really is, like, the head of the family. Well, all of a sudden, the first song comes on, and the voice of an angel comes out of nowhere, and they're singing, and then me, my older brother, and one of my not so older cousins that also is the older in his family, all pick our heads up because we knew that the person that was singing was a guy, but they had an angelic voice. So all we could think about was Ned Flanders singing like that angelic voice, and like it was very angelic. It was like, we looked around like, does anyone else hear this guy singing like an angel? And no one else noticed it, and like we couldn't stop.
It was Will Ferrell from Step Brothers.
We snickered during my grandmother's funeral, and like we started laughing. And like it was a moment that my whole family would talk about. Like, hey, remember the time you laughed at Nana's wedding? And like it's a
funeral.
It's a funeral. Sorry, funeral. It's a story of like endearment. Everyone like loves that story, but it was like we couldn't stop ourselves because we were like, why?
But that's what funerals should be.
Like, why does this person sound like an angel? And it's like it's not like it's a girl with a very nice voice. It's this guy that does not look like he could sing.
That's what funerals should be. Like, I don't want Charlie at my funeral because he's gonna cry like a pussy.
No,
but I don't. Maybe. I want people celebrating. Like I
cry during happiness. I cry during happiness. If you die, I'll chug a beer.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Now you got me all thrown off because that was like the sweetest thing I said.
Don't cry.
I'm gonna cry now. But yeah, no, I love Irish funerals that are at taverns or pubs, and they're dancing on the bar and they're singing for some reason American songs like what's that one that they sing in the stadiums these days? She takes off her dress now, which is a weird song for a funeral.
Blink 182.
No, that's not Blink.
Is that Irish?
No, it's not Irish. That's just it. Is that they sing this in Irish pubs? It's an American song. I can't. It's killing me.
I know what song you're talking about.
Yeah. All right.
I've never heard it played at a funeral.
Yeah. I saw a video of.
I think he's high.
No, it was like this guy's favorite song or something, and everybody in the pub, this Irish pub, went nuts singing it in his honor, and they're all dancing on the bar and stuff.
Like the BC football games.
Yeah, a lot of college, which is weird. Again, what does that have to do with football? What does that have to do with dying?
And it was really
that
fun.
song sucks.
No, it does not.
Sure does. Sure does, Mom.
I'm still over trying to figure out the chorus. Like I'm like halfway there. Like, what's that chorus of that song? Like I thought it was Blink 182, but I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong. I don't know what it is now.
I don't know. I think we should do my top 5 at this point. And so the top 5 has never actually been a 5. Every single time it's like 6, 7, 11, 13. But this week I lost my first fantasy football game. And I am in a league that I've been in for 10 years. I've won 3 out of 4 chips the last 4 years. And it's a 12-man league, so it's a tough league. And one of the members is my brother. And there are 6 siblings in my family. I've got 2 sisters, 3 brothers, obviously myself being the 6th person. I'm the oldest. Raffi is my brother out there, and Raffi lives in Pecatonica, Illinois. It is the most redneck of redneck places. The name of our league is League 101, 12 rednecks and a patriot, or 11 rednecks and a patriot. That's how redneck he is. But I lost to Raffi in week 1. So I had to drink, I had to chug a PBR. And I properly disposed of the other 17, but I'm still so mad about it because I can still taste the PBR.
Oh, it actually smells like
in my mouth.
Fucking ass.
Yeah. Charlie, for those of you who can't see us right now, Charlie is cracking open a PBR as we speak to be in the moment. I will not do that. I can't believe Charlie will drink a PBR or a Rolling Rock, but not a Hef. He doesn't like Hefeweizens.
I didn't say it won't drink a Hef.
But you prefer it.
Yeah, I don't prefer a PBR to that.
You clearly do because you just did it. You just chose it over drinking a delicious Twisted Fate.
Suppose I did.
But here, in honor of Raffi and my brother Raph is an asshole week, are my top 5 indicators that a redneck has been working on your computer. So, my top 5. So, number 7 is it is mounted up on blocks. Number 6, the 6 front keys have all rotted out. Wait, we on 5? The number keypad, the numeric keypad only goes up to 4. Number 4, the password is possum. Number 3, the computer has a gun rack mount. Number 2, the keyboard is camouflaged. And the number 1 way that I can tell that my brother Raffy the Redneck has worked on my computer is that he calls the mouse a critter. Thank you very much.
The critter.
Social.
I actually like
That
it.
was
Social.
That was really good.
That was a good one, right?
It was really good.
David Letterman should have
So
had
good.
me writing for him back in the day. I mean, I would never come up with 10, but if he'd asked me for 10, I'd probably give him 12. I don't know.
Perfectly
glass.
clear.
It is.
You're judging a PBR right now?
Yeah.
Well, didn't Matt tell us that's like one of the hardest things to get a beer to be?
Yeah, the
is
clarity.
So I have a
clear?
PBR story. Do you guys know the history of Pabst Blue Ribbon and Anheuser-Busch? I can't remember. I think it was George Augustus was the original. It was George something. I think it was George Augustus. We'll call him George for the matter for storytelling time.
Oh, he just
But-
chugged the PBR.
Yeah,
he
what
did
did he get in
it.
his
It
beard?
went down. His beard's all wet.
12-ounce chugs don't count.
You're so
That's what she
dramatic,
said.
Mo.
So
Dramatic.
in the 1930-something World Fair, right before the World Fair, Pabst was actually the number 1 beer in the United States.
No, it
Pabst
wasn't.
was number 1. Listen to the story.
We're listening. Charlie's choking.
He's
chugged a
disagreeing with me
PBR.
yet again.
Yeah.
So it
Charlie
was. It was
chokes.
the number 1 beer in the United States. Budweiser was up and coming. Anheuser-Busch was up and coming. And so they were fighting back and forth and trying to maneuver themselves as the best beer in America, the most selling beer in America. And so this World Fair is coming up in Chicago in 1932, I think it was. And so the World Fairs used to be like these big, extravagant displays. Like you put millions of dollars in your display. So it wasn't like a beer fest now where you get a tent. It was like extravagant displays. So Anheuser-Busch, Augustus Busch, makes this enormous like building and columns and all these things so that he can display Budweiser. George whatever from Pabst, George Pabst probably, I don't know. No, he bought the place from Pabst. But George makes his place. It's a little smaller. He doesn't have the money that Augustus does. So they're in the World's Fair. And prior to it, they were promised that there was going to be like this taste test. And it was going to be decided once and for all. These people are going to come in. They were going to vote. That never happened.
Love it.
So a few people came and tried all the beer, but nobody actually voted. So Augustus Busch decides to just crown himself the champion. The literal king of beers is what he told everybody that they were. We're the king of beers. We won. And so George from Pabst was like, oh, no, we won. We got a blue ribbon. And he put the blue ribbon on. And that is a true story as to how Pabst became the blue ribbon beer and Budweiser became king of beers. Fact, not opinion. I have the knowledge.
You learned that in
Cicero.
beer school?
I actually did learn it in beer school. It was one of the first stories told. And it was very interesting. And that's all I got. You don't believe me?
Love it.
I mean, I sort of believe you.
You don't think that that's something that could happen?
It could happen.
My
No,
daughter's
I-
your
Yeah,
dad.
she would, yeah.
Yeah,
She's
she's like,
so
don't
weird.
argue with my dad.
disagrees.
Like,
I have a
it
question. How
absolutely could
dare
happen.
you?
Yeah. Jessica, you want to pull up the old craft beer mafia page there because we have given
Oh,
the
yeah.
craft beer mafia the
Oh,
opportunity
boy.
to ask
Yeah.
you some questions, Marc Sisson, as our guests, and so they've come up with some really, really good ones.
Right.
While Jessica's looking them up,
I already have them right here.
Oh, you have them? Well,
Yeah,
Charlie's
but you
got
do
a
your
question
thing.
for you that he wanted to ask you to start this all off with.
I do.
I don't fucking remember.
Just totally put him on the spot. I thought I was buying Jessica time, and I thought he'd come up with something real quick. But he does. We were just in Uno's, and you were like, I'm short. Mark shorts. I know that most of the time short people have bigger penises. I don't, but I wonder if Mark does. Remember that?
Yeah, how big is your dick?
Oh, that was one of the questions.
Are we measuring from the side or underneath? Because
Total cubic inches.
All right, Jessica, what do we got for questions?
All right, I'm gonna scroll through this list from top to bottom.
No, well, we don't need all the questions.
Listen. I got this. I got
Okay.
this. Just chill out, drink a beer, just relax.
That's the best kind of relaxing.
Yeah. Okay. To start off, Holly wants to know what your favorite color is.
blue.
Blue, Holly. That's a good one.
Blue,
You
Holly.
should knit him a blue scarf. Okay. Sean Freeman, what's your favorite brewery?
Widowmaker.
It's a good one.
They're nice people. They make good beer.
Why? How?
No.
We're not
They-
going by nice people.
No. They make great beer, and I'm not getting into like Treehouse or Trillium, because that's just to this point they're a little bit over hyped. I hated having to stay in line in Treehouse, and I hate the fact that some guys that I talk to so the Trillium guys at the Fenway area are really nice, but the ones at Canton that I go to all the time because I live right by there, some of them can be dicks. Some of them, it's like that those stories you hear from Foam. Some of them are kind of dicks where I'm like, hey, how's the daycare going? And they're like, I have no idea what you're talking
Under
about.
his breath, trashed on 3 breweries.
But
I've had that experience.
I love
at Foam.
Trillium, period. And I love
Yeah.
Foam, period. But my sister-in-law went up there and she has no idea what she's doing. She just asked them to help her with some beers because she wanted to impress her brother-in-law. And they're just pick from the menu. And they were dicks to her. So it's all right, well,
Yeah,
Aw.
your beer's great, but your customer service could use a little
I had a similar
refresher.
experience there.
But I would say Widowmaker because they have great beer, just like Trillium and Treehouse, but they're good people on top
Can't
of it.
argue with that.
Yep. All right. And Robbie Rich wants to know, what beer have you not had that you really want to try?
Wow. I'm kind of a beer snob in the sense that I usually some way or another my wife will stand in line for the tiramisu from Trillium or something like that. I would probably have to say
Wait, whoa. Your wife stands in line for you?
she's done that before. Where
This
I've
is
had to
why
work,
this
is
is why
a
he doesn't leave.
superhero.
where I've had to work and she's picked up the for our wedding the double barrel aged tiramisu
Your
from
wife is a
Trillium.
saint.
Yeah.
Because she knew
Good
I
for her.
wanted to have it because it lined up about 6 months before our wedding, and she's like, he'll want that. Let me get it for him.
What a
Why don't
girl.
you stand in line for me?
Wow.
So,
Listen to you.
but there's something that someone has released from Deciduous that I just can't get up there.
Deciduous, yeah.
Deciduous. I've gotten better than the pronunciation, but I just let it slip that time. I started thinking about no, he calls me every time, and I know I messed it up. But I love that brewery. There was something from them. It was some sort of barrel aged something that you've someone's posted about that I've really wanted.
Yeah.
That I've not been able to get yet.
Good choice. That being said, next
Let's
question.
get that
He has
let's
not
get
said
that
that being
one.
said once.
I did
Um,
once.
You
I
did?
put my hand up.
Oh.
That being said, and I
Everybody
put my hand up.
You know. Do you think we should have Dave Twist as a guest?
No.
What?
I
No.
couldn't hear that.
No. There's not enough poles in this tiki bar for him, or any type of boilers, or any type of basement feel. I love you, Dave. Don't
Sorry,
kill me.
Dave. That's one more episode you're going to have to wait.
All right, and let's jump down to here. Will Diorio would like to know if you would rather to have a dick for a nose or have the worst BO ever.
I'm going a dick for a nose.
Dick for a
You
nose.
can't
it
get
is.
around the worst BO ever.
So
You don't.
true.
No one wants to be around you. If you sit there with one of those
Nose dicks?
no, one of those geisha things that cover your face, you can get away with a nose dick.
Here's the problem.
You can cover it.
If
but
we
you
ever
can't
have
cover
another
the BO.
pandemic, you have to suck your own dick because you have to put a mask on.
No, you just tape it to the side.
But I guess that's a pro to it.
I don't want BO. BO you can't get around. There's no way you can smell it coming from a mile away. Oh, that guy has BO. You can't get
Never
around
mind,
BO.
it's
You can
dick
hide
nose.
other stuff.
My nose dick
You can, hey, I got a tumor on my forehead. Can you tape it up there? I have a tumor. You're gonna make fun of me? I have cancer. Leave me alone.
Seems legit.
Jesus.
Seems
BO,
legit.
you smell. There's no around smelling.
Do you want any more? 'Cause
Yeah,
that's not a
I
good
want
one.
more.
To be honest,
Okay.
my
This is good.
Yeah, a little
All
rapid
right.
fire.
Nastasia wants
Oh,
to
God.
know what your shoe size. I use shoe size.
Your
What's
shoe
your
shine?
Why does she want
size?
to know
10 and
that?
a half
Because you know
10 and a
that.
half wide.
Well, that
Yo.
that is directly related to
Like,
his
like-
nose size.
That goes back to the dick
Yeah.
Right.
nose.
His nose,
So
right.
that means that your nose is also a 10.5.
10 and a half wide.
She
Yeah.
also has
5 and
another
a
good
quarter,
question.
brothers. High five.
Shop hands. Shop hands.
Her other good question is, what beer style do you avoid?
Avoid?
Yeah.
Usually, unless it's a really good sours.
Oh.
I have heartburn with sours.
Yeah.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
Sours
No.
with
It
me, like,
happens.
But do you like them?
I
Because I
like it.
suffer through it
I like a
on
good
purpose.
so the daily servings and twice the daily servings I have every morning while I go camping because it tastes like juice.
Every
Like,
morning.
every morning I have a couple of
every
daily
morning.
servings.
What-
sour beer,
what-
some Trillium.
When I go camping, I have to have one in the morning because it feels like it's like
Yeah.
a smoothie.
Sets the tone right. Yeah.
If it's not very like overly sour and just carbonated, if it has like some sort of like fruit substance to it, I like it. But I just like the very, very, very sour, very, very, very carbonated sours, they
The more
burn
traditional
through me.
stuff.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
burn through me where I get, no matter how much an acid I take, it will still burn my stomach. I'll sit there blowing fire out my mouth.
For sure.
We don't want that.
I get that.
Better out your mouth than your ass, though.
Sours are my enemy usually.
Corey Macon wants to know what your favorite pub grub is and from where.
Nachos.
Nachos.
Not see my
are the
stomach.
shit.
Nachos. If you can make a good nacho, I'll come to you every time.
Yeah.
Same.
That's
You
what
pull
she
that
said.
pulled pork on top.
From
of
where?
it.
Yeah. The best I've had, it's Barrett's Ale House. There's only a couple of them. The most on the South Shore. My wife loves it because she loves Kino. We're like a traditional Boston family
Oh my
where
God.
we need Kino and nachos. It's so bad. And
And Jameson.
yeah,
Really like it.
Kino, nachos, Jameson, and some
you do at least
Newports.
one shot of Jaeger in there, right?
Oh, I hate Jaeger. I hate like black licorice liquor.
What about Erin?
Same. She's just
Oh,
whiskey. She's
Just
whiskey,
whiskey.
whiskey, and whiskey alone. She's like Hank Hill of whiskey. I sell whiskey products and
Hank Hill.
whiskey products alone.
All right, I got what the hell kind of question is this? And a good question.
Okay.
John Griffin, are you high right now?
No,
He was earlier, though.
no. I actually,
Laura?
I barely,
Stop it.
I
Okay.
barely hit my pen. I
Barely hit it. So, see, this is what I mean about
This is a
these
pretty
weed
legitimate
doers.
question.
I barely,
Weed
You're a
doers.
weed
I only
doer?
smoked a little bit of weed.
Yeah,
I only did
you
a little
are.
bit of drugs.
It's funny
I'm
because
not
I'm
high.
sitting in Matt's chair. Matt is our resident stoner.
I know.
And
But
I
I've
know.
had like I took one hit while I was driving up just because I was like, you know what, I want to make sure that like I kind of have like a little loose cannon. I don't want to sit there too crammed up. But like it was like the pen is not nearly as bad as like taking a hit of a bowl or to lighten up a joint.
People who are high always are the ones that are like, yeah, I'm not the high one, or I can handle it. It's just like the same. It's the same thing as parents who bring their kids to breweries and are like, yeah, I control my kids though. Then whose kids are the ones
Actually,
running around?
I'm too old now because like my Erin's the one that smokes more. Like I'll take a couple hits to her like whole bowl. I don't smoke as much anymore. I'll take a couple
Throw
hits
the wife under the bus.
every time. No, she's a stoner. She is.
I thought
She's
stoner
a
wasn't
drunk
a word
stoner.
anymore. I got chastised.
I know you did for me. I mean,
Oh, but then you just used it.
yeah. Good point.
Because, yeah, I know. For me,
Yeah, exactly.
All right, last one. I think this is a good one to go out strong. Mark Long wants to know, what breweries would you like to see do a collab?
So, I've started to come on that whole like collabs are a little bit overrated nowadays.
Big disappointment.
But who do you think could do a
started
successful one?
strong. A successful one from the people that I've talked to is someone that does it with. I would say Mass Landing and Wandering Souls.
Whoa.
Weird.
You know
Why
you know
those two?
Yeah.
Because Mass Landing was very candid with me a couple times about how they've done collabos where they
Collabos.
basically
I like
had
it.
the other brewery mail it in when they gave them the recipe.
Yeah.
Or they've never done anything to incorporate it. So it tells me Mass Landing wants to do it where they brew with the other person. And I know Matt Smith brews with the other person, at least from what I've like been led to believe.
I don't know. Love Matt. I think if you look at his collabs, I'm not sure that they're
I'll get
working
access to them.
together on them.
Okay.
So for example, the Aeronaut one, he did his, then Aeronaut does theirs.
Which is how so many of them
Yeah,
operate.
that's how they
Usually,
most of them are. Yeah.
This is my
the
recipe
Trill-
with your name.
Yeah,
Trillium
but
has
still
a-
an
with our
interesting.
name.
That's a good reason to.
Trillium
for
had the
people
Freaky
to
Fridays
do it.
for a while, right? With
With
Bissell?
like a
Was
West.
it with Bissell?
Yeah, well, they had the Swishilium too.
Yeah.
You know, back and forth, and
Swish-
so they made theirs, and or like you look
Swishium
at-
or Swishilium?
Swish.
Swishing.
I don't know,
I don't
the
know.
can-
Actually, if you
the
over
The
there.
trillium was the swish and the trillium. Yeah, you want me to go
Right.
get it?
No.
I don't know.
Well, I have. I'm going to add one more question because that I liked. That's was also sent in that we'll
Oh,
close
sorry,
it off
I
with.
spoiled
No,
it.
that's okay.
Was
I know what it
the-
is.
What,
From Mike Went.
Okay.
Mike Went would like to know how much you bench.
Sorry, I scrolled past.
You can talk about your peak or today.
Today, because I know I can put a keg over my over my belt buckle, so it's like 160 pounds. I would say 120.
120.
If I'm being honest, like I'm not gonna sit there and be like, 140, 150.
Yeah.
I know I can pick a keg up from the ground and put it above my belt buckle, and those being 160.
I think that's a very good measurement.
But
is
like
where you
benching
can-
is
how you
completely
can list the
different.
keg.
I would say 110, 120. if
110,
I
120. That's only like
A one-
45 to 55 pounds less than my daughter, my 18-year-old daughter can,
It's
but
true.
which is actually a true story.
She's at
But
165.
the keg, the
that was called like the ultimate like a trap. I went like, say lower, my duck.
Where's the
I think
tortillas?
if you can pull 130 up,
yeah.
I think you'd put a lot more
I was-
with on your back
Listen,
up like that.
I don't want to be the guy that says like
I give you
100
180.
I don't want to say the guy that says like 180 and be like, oh no, I don't believe you. Do it right now. Like okay, like
Yeah.
I don't want to
Maybe not.
overestimate.
I don't know.
I'm not-
I don't know.
None of us have a bench.
I haven't benched in.
Thank God, because I don't want to overestimate. I want to
18
say like, oh
years.
yeah, I can do this, and like you're bullshitting. Like
We
why are
would
you
have
talking about
believed
that?
you no matter what you said
I'm a
because you're
modest
an honest
man.
person.
Yeah.
That being said, we've come to the end of another MOBEER Cold Takes. We want to thank our sponsor, Twisted Fate Brewing, with some just phenomenal 16.9 ounce beers. Once again, we want to thank Cheez-Its, as always, for being the greatest snack on the planet. We want to thank the wonderful people at Silly Straw, made by Jarv Incorporated, for their amazingly refreshing glasses that
Did
you
you
put on
finish
your
that?
face. Yeah.
Okay, good.
I
Fairly
killed it.
quickly.
And we want to say go fuck yourself to Coors Light and Pabst Blue Ribbon for being the most awful beers of this show. But thank you mostly to you, Marc Sisson, the Sergeant at Arms, for being our very first guest on MOBEER
Yeah, Mark.
Cold Takes. You're a good man. You're a good sports.
That's a
Charlie
shame,
Chubbs, you are the man. J-Mo, you are the woman. I am
It's
Mo.
very obvious with
Just
this.
stating facts. Yeah.
Next week we have another guest. We have Stoneface Brewing's
Excited
Matt
for this.
Ricci, who may have the best beard in the group. Even though it's not very long, it just is so full and dark and black, and
I'm hoping he does
Beautiful.
Petros has the best
he
beard.
does also some of the best impersonations. Not sure if we're going to get them, but we're excited to have
Let's
Matt
hope he
Ricci on
does
the
them
program next week. Thank you for joining us this week. MOBEER Cold Takes. Go fuck yourselves.
See ya.
See ya.